Welcome to the Small Business Miracles Podcast. I'm Jeff Randolph. This podcast is brought to you by EAG Advertising and Marketing. We're here to talk about marketing and the world of entrepreneurship. And today, I'm having a conversation with Alan Mattox. He's the Director of Quality Assurance at Bimini Pet Health. Dog and cat supplements? Let's bring Alan into the conversation, shall we?
Talk about strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes, dreams, and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business, get into your business, get into your business.
All right, welcome back to the show. I have been joined by Alan Mattox. Alan, the Director of Quality Assurance at Bimini Pet Health. Alan, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Jeff. Thank you.
Let me start with Bimini Pet Health itself, because you're the Director of Quality Assurance, and I definitely want to talk about your journey and how you got there. But first, could you give us a sense of what Bimini does?
Yeah, we're a pet supplement manufacturer. And historically, we've most of our business is contract manufacturing and private label, but we do have our own brand. We're an FDA registered facility. We're CGMP certified under 21 CFR 117, which is basically good manufacturing practices, hazard analysis, and risk-based preventative controls for human food. So we're basically operating at a human food level, but we manufacture pet supplements.
I mean, that seems like the right thing to do, right? We do love our pets. It seems like we should give them good quality ingredients.
Are you kidding? My dog is the boss of my family, so I have to tread lightly.
That makes sense. So, and you said contract manufacturing. And so if I'm an online seller, if I have a pet food retail store, if I'm a YouTube celebrity influencer and I've got, a cat who surfs and has their own, I could create my own line of products for them.
Absolutely. And, just to give you a little bit of background, so not only are we accredited to and are audited to the same guidelines for human food, we're also audited to the National Animal Supplements Council, which provides guidance on that space between dietary supplements and pet food.
Oh, outstanding. Yeah. Well, and so that's a good overview of what Bimini Pet Health does. Let's talk about your role, though, because there is a path you have taken to get here. You have some credentials that we should probably get out on the table first that puts you in a good position to tackle that quality assurance piece. Tell us about that journey to get here.
Well, yeah, I attended Kansas State University back in the 1900s.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. My first job out of college was with a large pet food manufacturer. I spent about 3 years with them, and while I loved it, it wasn't. For me, their perspective was I kept hearing the slogan "Sundays for pets," and it wasn't really the most healthiest stuff that was being made for pets. About that time, about 3 years into it, I actually went into forensics. So I used to work for a state lab doing DNA testing for criminal cases here in the state of Kansas.
Yeah. As you do. Sure.
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit of a journey, but historically, the main part of my career has been focused around laboratory work, DNA testing, whether it be sequencing or PCR analysis. After about 8 or 9 years with the Bureau, I went into working for a clinical lab. The same technology they use to identify humans, they use to identify viruses. And, I was working in Kansas City, and I wanted to be closer to home. And I came to Topeka, and I was working for a lab here in town, and the owner of the company needed some help with these quality assurance program. And I feel like one of my strengths is attention to detail. Whether it be working a forensic case or looking at patient samples for the clinical realm, the attention for detail, and when it comes to making pet supplements or any kind of product that is ingested by dogs or humans is very important. And so, I've been working with Sam here at Bimini for the last 3 years, and I absolutely love it. It's a small company. I get to wear many hats. I have input on, every facet of the business, whether it be ingredients that are coming in through the door through finished product that's going out. So it's been very rewarding. I've been working in a lab setting, which we do audits yearly. So, here it's no different. Man, like in the last 13 months, we've been audited twice for 21 CFR 117 by a third party company. we've had the FDA come in and inspect us, just drop in, it was
Yeah.
kind of a rewarding experience. And then we've been audited twice now by NASE, and we've done really well. I want to say the last 2 years we've scored 99 out of 100 on our CGMP audit.
That's outstanding. I mean, it seems like I don't know how much staff any of those places have to audit these days, but it seems like you are up there on par with any other food production company as far as how many times you have been audited and the success rate of that. I mean, that seems like you've got to be ready for the inspection, and they don't slack off just because you are in a pet food world instead of human food.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see the difference. To me, whether it be pet food or pet supplements or human stuff, for me, it's the same thing. My dog is a member of my family. And so, when we're looking at stuff and determining the quality of the material that we make, it's simple for me to ask myself is, would I feed this to my, to one of my fur babies?
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you monitor the quality at Bimini. Does it make sense to start at the beginning when an ingredient comes into the facility and start with that part of the process and just kind of walk us through the quality control pieces there?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say half the battle is, your supply chain. Mm-hmm. You've got, as far as we have a supplier approval program, all our vendors are vetted. They have to have their own CGMPs in place. They have to have a food safety program. We do site visits. The importance of the ingredients coming in the door are just as important as the material going out, especially in today's day and age where, a lot of our ingredients are globally sourced. Mm-hmm. So you have to know what you're putting in. There's a lot of white powders out there, and supplements are, there's a ton of white powders. So you want to make sure, the ingredient you're adding to that mix is actually what it is, and then that it's safe.
Well, and as you stare, like this is coming from a place where I don't know what I don't know about that. But if you get a shipment of white powder into the facility, how do you know that white powder is a pea protein instead of fentanyl? Like how do you know that aside from probably cost? I'm guessing. Anyway, how do you know that is that ingredient?
Yeah, well, we require from all of our shipments a certificate of analysis. Mm-hmm. So it arrives with everything that we need to know about that product in regards to what it is, the purity, how it's been tested. And then, we have a skip lot policy. We send stuff out to a third party lab ourselves. We like to use the term trust but verify.
Yeah.
So we're going to, anything that comes in, we're still going to send it out to confirm, that we're getting a safe product that we can add to our mixes.
Yeah, I think that was a classic Ronald Reagan line, if I'm not mistaken. The trust but verify. Can you walk us? So now we've got all of those ingredients in the facility. Can you walk us through the production process and how you monitor quality during that time? Because you do the kinds of products you do. You do filled products. You do extruded products. I don't know what else I'm missing just from staring at the site. But walk us through production and what that looks like.
Yeah, it usually falls into 3 categories. So we have mixing, extruding, and filling.
Okay.
All our ingredients are mixed. And in that stage, we have quality control checks at each stage. So we have checks that our operators do, and we have checks that our QA techs also perform, to double check lot numbers, to verify ingredient names, mm-hmm. to verify weights that are going into the mix. Everything's recorded, from the date, the operators that are running the material, the date, the batch number that's included with it. So all along the way, we're taking measurements and we're documenting each of those steps. So if there is a problem, we can go back and investigate any issues that may arrive. So the first step is obviously mixing for us, whether it be a powder or, an extruded product, we have to mix. So we, and to me, I feel like that's something that we keep an eye on, as far as making sure the last thing you want, whether it be, if it's your product or someone else's, brand, you want to guarantee that what's going in that product is what you say is going in that product. Because I'm from the lab, the lab world where reputation is everything. You don't want to, whether you're on the stand testifying on your work that puts someone in jail or, this is a product, if it gets pulled off the shelf and it's going to be tested, you want to know, that it's being made by, people that you trust. And, that's one of the things that I love about this company is I feel like we've put the pieces in place to provide that quality and that reputation that people want. So after mixing, we go into the extrusion process. Same thing there. We're taking measurements. We actually have a quality management software program that we brought in house about a year and a half ago called Red Zone. And I absolutely love this software program from a quality management perspective, because what it does, Jeff, is I can sit here with my iPad and I can look to see what's being made at any part of the process. I can see where it's at. I can see who's working on it. I can see the quality checks that are being done, and I get notified if any of them fail.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so what Red Zone does for us is it increases communication. It allows us, here's a good example. When we're filling a product, Red Zone fires a quality check, and it requires you to actually take a scan of the barcode of the label that's being filled. And if it's not right, it flags. So we have a lot of tools in place that prevent a lot of mistakes that could be catastrophic. If you're putting the wrong product in the wrong container, it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
So extruding, in that part of the process, we're really just mainly concerned with piece size and shape and making sure that everything is being extruded correctly. And then from there, it goes into filling. We have 2 filling lines. This year, we've introduced a metal detector online as well as a check weigher. So not only does that provide you with some assurance that we're not putting any foreign metal into your product,
Right.
The jars that are going out the door are of the right size. You're not getting material that's underweight. And then from there, once we have that finished product in hand, we collect representative samples, retention samples from every batch. And those samples are sent to a third-party lab, and they're tested for aflatoxin, which is a very bad toxin for humans, but it's really bad for dogs or cats. We have that checked at a lab. We also check for salmonella. And then we also check for E. coli, STEC7, the pathologic E. coli strands. So, before we ship any product, we have the report in hand from the lab. And we're kind of spoiled. We get our lab results within 24 hours of submission. So we're able to get stuff out the door relatively quick. Because last thing we want to do is send something out and then have to recall it.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause once it leaves the house, it's incredibly difficult to get back.
It's out there. Yeah. And so it's not just that you're checking it in the lab at every step along the way, but independently verified by an outside lab before it gets released to the public.
Yeah. And all our labs are accredited. We don't use labs that haven't been accredited or haven't been audited or haven't shown that they have the quality system in place themselves. So it's not just us that, we require accreditation. We look at our vendors who supplied ingredients, and then we look at our laboratory. So everyone who's involved, we use people who have the documentation in place to show that they know what they're doing.
Man, outstanding. And then let's see. If it's all right with you, I'll throw you into the lightning round now, if that works for you. Anything else on the production process before we jump on, where I get to just throw questions at you that you've no clue what's coming next? Is that anything else that you want to talk about in the production process?
Two quick things. We incorporate FTIR, which is an analytical technique that uses infrared light to identify molecular composition of our ingredients and our finished product. So it provides like a unique fingerprint on the spectrum. So it allows us to use that technology for identification. Like when you have a white powder, are you able to?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We can actually test it and compare it to our library to make sure that it has that same fingerprint of what it should have. And the other thing is most of our products have a low water activity.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because viruses and other pathogens follow the water, right? Water is life. Is that
right? They need water to grow. Just to put it in perspective, honey has a water activity of 0.5, which, as you know, honey is one of those things you can keep on the shelf.
Right. From Egyptian times on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most of our products run around like 0.38, 0.4. So we're below that.
Wow. Okay.
I think the FDA states unless it's above 0.75, the ability to grow is very limited. So that's something else that we measure on our finished product is our water activity. And we've done thousands of water activity tests, and I've yet to see anything over, everything falls into the 0.4 range.
Outstanding, man. Yeah, no, that I'm glad we covered that. Yeah, that makes you feel better that you're not even putting something in an environment where pathogens could start to grow. Yeah, let's take you into the lightning round if that's all right with you. Are you ready for that? I mean, we've talked about your dog for a minute. We've talked about some past career stuff. I'm excited to find out even more if we can. Are you ready?
Well, you're putting me outside of my comfort zone.
I know. We'll take you outside of the lab where everything is controllable, and we'll put you into this situation here. And my first question is very simple, very simple. Cats or dogs?
Oh, I'm a dog guy. My wife's chomping at the bit to get a cat.
Yeah.
And I have nothing against cats, but I love the affection that I get. Like when I come home, my dog runs and is happy to see me, and it's the highlight. I don't tell my wife this, but it's the highlight. It's like one of the highlights of my day. So definitely a dog guy, but
Definitely dog.
I can see my wife winning a battle in the future and talking me into getting a cat.
I, as a dog person myself for a very long time, I was a dog person for, I don't know, let's just call it the first 40 some years of my life. And then we started getting a whole lot of cats and fostering cats and everything. And I do now see the benefits of both species, but there's always that soft spot for a dog in there in your life. So good. I get it. Totally get it. Let me jump back into your trail that took you here, because you were with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, forensic scientist working with DNA testing. You were a biology supervisor doing casework DNA. That's a lot of very real and very intensive science that must be accurate. When you go home and you watch a TV, can you watch a TV crime drama and not yell at the TV?
I love the stories just as much as anyone else. Actually, Jeff, I'm not that guy who watches it and goes, "Oh, that's
you can't do that. You'd be contaminating everything." You're not. You do suspend belief for a bit. And
it is. It is what it is. Everyone knows that it takes longer than 2 commercial breaks to do some of that testing. But I love that field. It was matter of fact, a little known trivia question. I think I have an embarrassingly long or short. I should say short segment on one of those true crime documentaries.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even work the case. One of my colleagues worked the case, and they wanted to film someone running the ALS light, looking at evidence. And I was like, well, I'll do it. And so they filmed me using the light. And it's like 1 second, if you blink, you miss me.
Are you okay saying which one that is? I mean, there are a lot of true crime fans out there.
It was one of the professors at a local university was a suspect, and I can't even remember. It was like True Detective or one of those weird crime shows. But
I just love the bonus trivia going on here. I love that. I love that. You use human grade ingredients to make dog treats and all the supplements. I know that I have been at a trade show where I've seen everything from cookies to treats. Or I'm sorry, what I should say is you use human grade ingredients to make all the dog supplements. Do you have a favorite treat? Do you have a favorite dog, supplement that you enjoy, or a cookie?
Cookies are always good.
Because I will say I was at the Global Pet Expo and saw some samples that were on display, and I ate more than my share. And they were delicious. They were absolutely delicious.
Well, did I see you there? I was at the Global Pet Expo this year, and
this was not this year. This was the before that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event. It's huge. I had to use a map to find our own booth.
Yes, yeah, it is a giant show.
But to answer your question, I don't really have a favorite.
No.
When it comes to pet supplement, for me, is as long as it's not, it doesn't fall in that category as a sundae for pets,
yes,
banana split for pets. I feel like, for me, the way Bimini approaches things is we put a lot of science into our product. Our owner has, a PhD. Our senior director of operations has a PhD. I have a master's degree. Our production guy has more quality experience than I do. He came from a large candy manufacturer here in town, and he gets it. He knows the importance of quality as just as much as I do. And so, for me, as long as we're making stuff that's healthy and good for our pets, That's usually where I like to focus on.
Tell me about, because we're talking about lab standards and controlling absolutely everything and making sure you've got a good, clean environment. Does your day job intrude into your home kitchen? Like, do you demand your home kitchen maintain lab standards, or is that you can separate home and office pretty easily so that it is just kind of screaming salmonella risk at home? In the office, you would obviously never do that. That's very clear. But do you require that for your home kitchen? Do you get that nervous kind of twitch for the home?
Oh, it's embedded, Jeff. My wife used to work in a previous life. She used to work as a restaurant inspector.
Oh, wow, man.
And so, yeah, she's worse than I am. She has the thermometers, and she has, she catches me. She's way more type A than I am. So it doesn't fly fly at home. It's not going to fly here either. So
perfect. Last question in the lightning round here. How do you celebrate a big win when you are this could be a sporting event for kids? It could be a great personal achievement. What do you do to celebrate?
Oh man, we love going to Kansas City. It's a large city. About 60 miles from where I'm at, and we're foodies. We love going. We love trying new places. So if we're celebrating something, that's usually what we do is we find a new restaurant and go explore.
Oh, outstanding! Anything that comes to mind, like, oh, that's everyone should try in Kansas. If in Kansas City, be sure to try anything exciting that you've done lately, or is there a particular type of food that you always seek out?
I'm a steak guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I love barbecue, but barbecue for me, and that's Kansas City's wheelhouse, right?
Yes.
But I love. I don't even want to name drop, but Kansas City, they used to have the old stockyards in Kansas City, so it's the place to be when it comes to beef. So you can't go wrong picking any kind of steakhouse in Kansas City.
Yeah, we do have a new one started by a quarterback and a tight end. I don't know if that's on your list at some point, but there is a new one in town.
Yeah, I've heard about that, but it's when you call and it's like, well, we might have a reservation open in 2027.
That's right. Is March good for you? Yeah.
No, that's on my bucket list for sure. I think there's quite a long queue in that.
There's a wait. There's a bit of a wait there. Yeah. All right. Well, I will take you out of the lightning round with that. That's a solid lightning round performance, Alan. I appreciate that. Tell everybody where they can find you, if they want more information, if they need to take a look at what Bimini can do for them, where would you send them?
I'd go to our website first off.
BiminiPetHealth.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That will give you all our information, our contact information, as well as you can look at we put our certificates on there. So you can look at our CGMP certificate. You can look at our NASC documents. So everything that you need is on that page. And it will also give you information on all the products that we can make, whether it be powders, soft chews, or liquids.
Excellent. All right. Alan Mattox, Director of Quality Assurance at Bimini Pet Health. Thanks for being on the show today.
Hey, Jeff, I appreciate you. Thanks for your patience and helping this introvert through this process.
Hey, no worries. Hey, we need people in the lab who are dedicated to that kind of quality. We appreciate you being there.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
And that is our show. Thanks to our friend Alan Mattox from Bimini Pet Health, and thank you for listening to the Small Business Miracles podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating and review, drop us a line on the website at eagadv.com if you have any thoughts. Until then, we'll be out here helping entrepreneurs with another Small Business Miracle.
Talk about strategies and all the capabilities, building all your hopes, dreams, and all the possibilities. It ain't rocket surgery, but maybe it is. Come on down, we're gonna sit around, we're gonna get into your business, get into your business, get into